Hello and welcome to my channel, The Crochet Doctor. My name's Amy and I'm a doctor who crochets. And in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to make my Positive Pigeon pattern. I absolutely love this guy. He's a really chunky dude. He's got beautiful embroidered eyes and beak, so he's nice and baby safe. He is no sew, and best of all, no magic ring. He's also got a lovely domed head, and what I love about him is his flat bottom, so he can sit on your table. This pattern is in UK terminology and is perfect for a beginner. For this tutorial, you are going to need these ingredients. I use Yarnsmith's Chenille chunky yarn. However, any chenille yarn, preferably chunky, will do. I need a dark grey, a light grey, so I ran out of full balls, so this is what I have. A purple, an orange, and a teal. You'll then need some form of embroidery thread for the eyes. I use a cotton from Hobie. Scissors, a 5mm crochet hook, a needle, stitch marker, and some stuffing. For round one, starting with a slip knot, drape your yarn over your two fingers and wrap around. Cross over, pull up on your original piece, pull over, grab the yarn and pull through. And then you form a knot. Insert your hook into the loop and pull. To begin, you are going to chain 2. To chain, you wrap the yarn around your hook once, loop it under and pull it through. Do that a second time. Put the yarn over your hook, loop it round and pull through. This will create 2 chains. Now the trick to this, to not do a magic ring, is to insert your hook into the first chain, like so. You're now going to perform your first double crochet. A yarn over, loop under the hook, pull through, and you should have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, loop under the hook, and pull through those 2 loops. That has formed your first double crochet. We're going to do that again. Insert the hook into the original chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through those 2 loops. That's your second double crochet. Insert your hook back into that chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. That's 3. Back into the original chain, yarn over, pull through. At this point I like to flick my yarn end back, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. That's 4. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Insert back into the original chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. You've completed 6 double crochets. You then want to place your stitch marker over the loop on your hook and fasten. That marks the beginning of each round. This completes round 1. If you have any difficulties with your double crochet, please either re-watch the first round, or you can find many tutorials on YouTube of how to perform a double crochet. Starting round 2. In this round, you're going to do some increases, which is 2 double crochets into the same stitch from the round below. You're going to insert your hook and do your first double crochet. Insert your hook into the same stitch and do your second double crochet. Repeat that with the next stitch. Do 1 double crochet and then your second double crochet. And you want to repeat this a total of 6 times, which will give you 12 double crochets. And there you have it. 6 increases with a total of 12 double crochets. Take your stitch marker, place it around the loop on your hook, and that completes the end of round 2. In round 3, you'll be increasing further. In your first stitch, place 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, you want to increase and perform 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Repeat that again. 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then increase into the next stitch. And you simply repeat that pattern the whole way around. 1 double crochet, and then increase. 1 double crochet, and increase. 1 double crochet, and increase. And then finally 1 double crochet, and then increase. Remove your stitch marker, place it over the loop on your hook, and that completes round 3. Round 4 is another increase round, although we are going to perform more double crochets in between each increase. Start with a double crochet in the first stitch. Increase into the second stitch. You then want to do 2 double crochets. 1 and then another one into separate stitches. In the next stitch, you're going to increase. We go again, a double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch, then increase. And you continue that around. You do 2 double crochets and then increase. Now you might ask why I didn't do 2 double crochets and increase from the beginning. Most patterns are written like that. However, if you perform your increase in the same position every row, you get some pointiness to it. And this way it's much smoother and gives you a nicer round circle. And end on a double crochet. Take your stitch marker, place it around the loop on your hook, and that completes round 4. Round 5 is nice and easy. I want you to perform double crochets into every stitch from the round below. And once completed, this should give you a total of 24 double crochets. There we go, and you'll notice after round 5 you'll start getting a bit of doming to your top. Remove the stitch marker, place over the loop on your hook, and that completes round 5. Round 6 is another increase round. This time we'll do 3 double crochets and then an increase. We'll do 1, 2, 3, and then increase in the next stitch. And you will repeat that pattern a total of 6 times to give you a total of 30 stitches. 1, 2, 3, then increase. 1, 2, 3, and then increase. And just keep going all the way around. Take your stitch marker and place it around the loop on your hook. That completes round 6. Round 7, nice and simple. I want you to perform 30 double crochets the whole way around. Five, 15, 'and I've lost count. I never count, I just keep going round until I hit my stitch marker. Take your stitch marker out, place over the loop on your hook, and that's the end of round 7. Round 8 is another double crochet round. Again, you want to do 30 double crochets until you reach back to your stitch marker. You've got one more double crochet to do, and it's at this point that we're going to change our colour of yarn. I want you to start your double crochet by inserting your hook looping over and pulling through. But instead of pulling the grey through your 2 loops, I want you to pull the grey to the back, grab your teal, drape your teal over the hook so your short end is at the back and your long end is at the front, and pull that through the 2 grey loops. I then pull on my grey to tighten. Then want to cut your grey yarn, leaving about 5 to 10 centimetres. For security, I then choose to tie my ends together rather than weaving them in, because they won't be seen at the end. They can just stuff themselves into the plushie. Take your stitch marker, place it around the teal loop on your hook, and that completes round 8. Round 9 is a double crochet round. You want to do 30 double crochets in the teal colour. This just adds that pop of colour around its neck. Oh, my yarn is caught. And then you have 1 double crochet left, and once again we're going to change colour. So I want you to insert your hook, yarn over and pull through, but instead of pulling the teal through, pop that to the back, grab your purple yarn, drape over your hook with the short end in the middle and the long end in the front, and pull that purple through the 2 teal loops and pull on the teal to tighten. And take your stitch marker, put it around the purple, cut off your teal, tie it to secure, and that completes round 9. Round 10, we're going to do the same again. You want 30 double crochets in your purple, just to complete that pop of colour. And you've got 1 more stitch to go, and again you're going to change colour. So instead of pulling that purple, you want to grab your light grey, drape that over your hook and pull that through your 2 purple loops, pulling on the purple to tighten. Cut your purple yarn off and tie to secure. And take your stitch marker, place it around that loop on your hook. That's the end of round 10. In round 11, we're going to be doing another increase round. This is the final increase round, but we're also going to be adding the wings. Start with 2 double crochets. Then perform an increase. Then 4 double crochets. And you'll notice we'll also stagger the increases, just to prevent those pointy parts from happening and keeping it nice and round. Perform another increase. And then we're going to do a new stitch. This is called the bobble stitch. So yarn over your hook before you go anywhere. Insert that hook into the next stitch. Yarn over the hook again and pull through that stitch. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over once more and pull through 2 of those loops. And after finishing that first part, you should end up with 2 loops on your hook. You're then going to repeat that process another 3 times. So yarn over, insert into that same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through the last 2 loops. And after the second part, you'll have 3 loops on your hook. And again, yarn over, insert into that same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And you'll notice you have 4 loops on your hook. You do that one more time. Yarn over, insert into the same stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. And at the end of that, you'll have 5 loops on your hook. You then yarn over once more and pull through all 5 loops. And this creates your bobble stitch. Then do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. At this point, I like to pop my bobble out. Sometimes they form inwards and you want to make sure that it's sticking out. Then increase. And another 4 double crochets. Increase. 1 double crochet. And then you're going to do your second bobble stitch. Do this again. Yarn over, insert into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And after the first part, you have 2 loops on your hook. And again, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And you've got your 3 loops. And again, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. 4 loops left on your hook. And one more time, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And then you have 5 loops on your hook. You yarn over and pull through those 5 loops. Okay, you then double crochet and another double crochet. And again, I just pop that bobble stitch out. Increase. and 4 double crochets. Increase, and the final 2 double crochets. Then take your stitch marker and insert over the loop on your hook. That's the end of round 11. Now we are going to do some more bobble stitches later on this pigeon, and at this point, if you're having trouble with them, I would recommend watching a YouTube channel specifically for the bobble stitch to go over it in more detail, or alternatively go back a row and try again. Round 12. You'll be pleased to know that these are really simple. They are straight double crochets into the next 3 rounds. In round 12, you want to do 36 double crochets all the way around. These next few rows are going to add some length to your pigeon. You want to do a double crochet into your bobble stitch, exactly the same as you do all your other stitches. And that is 36 double crochets for round 12. Take your stitch marker and place over the loop on your hook. Round 13 is exactly the same, another 36 double crochets, adding more length to your pigeon. Take your stitch marker, put around the loop on your hook, and that completes round 13. Round 14 is ever so slightly different because we'll be adding the tail. But you start with 35 double crochets and you do not double crochet into the last stitch. So we go around once more. 34, 35. Right, now to do the tail, we're going to simply do another bobble stitch, and that's going to complete the row. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull, yarn over. Exactly the same as you did with the wings. Take your stitch marker, pop it over the loop on your hook, and that completes round 14. You'll see that our pigeon is starting to take shape and get a bit of length. But look how chunky he is. So cute. Now, round 15 is arguably the hardest round. We're going to be doing our first row of decreases and adding the feet with colour changes. Start with 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. At this point, pop out your tail. There we go. You want to perform a decrease stitch. So you insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, just like a double crochet. However, do not yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. You insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. So you end up with 3 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through those 3 loops. And that attaches those 2 stitches together and decreases them by a stitch. Then perform 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And do another decrease. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through 3 loops. Then do 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. On your 4th, you're going to be doing a colour change. So don't complete the 4th double crochet. Instead, pull your grey to the back, bring in your orange yarn, drape over the hook and pull the orange through the 2 grey loops. Do not tie the 2 together at this point. You're then going to perform a bobble stitch in the orange. So, through, 2, 3, and 4. But instead of pulling the orange through the 5 loops on your hook, put the orange to the back, bring your grey forwards, loop over the hook and pull that grey through all 5 loops of that bobble stitch. Then take your orange yarn and cut and tie your 2 orange ends together. This again is for security. And I feel it also adds something to the bobble. And you have your first foot. After the foot, you go straight into a decrease. Into that one and up, and into the next one and up, and pull through all 3 loops. 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. The next stitch is a decrease, but it's also a colour change. You go into the first loop, yarn over and pull up, into the next, yarn over and pull up, but don't pull through these 3 with the grey. Instead, put the grey to the back, bring in your orange yarn, loop over the hook and pull the orange through those 3 loops. You then do another bobble stitch to create the second foot. So yarn over, That's the first part. Second part. Third part. And fourth part. You've got your 5 loops on that hook. I want you to take your orange to the back, pull up your grey, and pull the grey through those 5 loops. And same again, cut off your orange yarn and tie those ends together. You'll be pleased to know that is your final colour change of this pigeon. You then do 4 double crochets. 2, 3, 4. Decrease. And 4 more double crochets. Decrease, and 2 more double crochets to complete the round. Take your stitch marker, place it over the loop on your hook, and that completes round 15. You see how his feet line up with the arms? After round 15, it's a perfect time to embroider your beak and eyes. You've now got the arms and the feet to line them up with, so you can get them nice and symmetrical. For this part, I pull up a loop on my hook and take the hook and the stitch marker off. I find they just get in the way. Take a length of your orange yarn and your needle, thread the needle. With the beak, you want to go perfectly central and you want it to span 2 stitches. I find the center, which is about here. And because you're working in the round, it's never 100% accurate and it's always off a little bit. And you go in between the last 2 dark grey rounds. You go over 1, 2 stitches and insert the needle. Before I do anything, I just check how central that beak is with the feet and the arms. And I think that's pretty good. Now you can leave it at that. However, I like my beak to be a little bit chunkier. So I bring up the needle and I just go back over it. And then, as always, for security, tie the 2 ends of that orange yarn together. And there's his little beak. I then use this beak to embroider the eyes. Take a length of your black embroidery thread, thread it through the needle. Okay. I embroider the eyes over round 7, which is the penultimate dark grey row, and I do it 2 stitches away from the corner of the beak so it lines up with the foot. That ends up being here. And I tend to go over about 5 or 6 times depending upon how the eye looks. You want to try and spread out the stitches so the eye looks a little bit wider. That's 5. 6. See how cute he's starting to look? And you do the same on the other side. So same row, 2 stitches away from the corner of the beak. So it lines up nicely with the foot. and I do the same amount of repeats. I did 6 on that side, so I'll do 6 on this side. And you look at your eyes, just check you're happy with them. I'm pretty happy with that. And then you take your 2 ends of embroidery thread, and you do a very loose knot because you don't want to tie the face tight. But if you go over 6 times, it won't be an issue. There we go. And that's your face embroidered. Moving on to round 16, I reinsert my hook back into my loop, pull it tight, and then reattach my stitch marker over that loop. Row 16 is your second decrease round. You want to do 3 double crochets and then a decrease, and repeat that 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, and then decrease. 1, 2, 3, and then decrease. Sorry, the yarn's gone squeaky. It's very hot today. 1, 2, and then your third double crochet goes into the foot. 3, and decrease. 1, 2, third double crochet going into the foot, and then decrease. You just keep repeating that till you get back to your stitch marker. And ending on a decrease. Take your stitch marker off, place it over the loop on your hook, and admire your pigeon. And as you can see, these decrease rounds are starting to close that bottom. Round 17 is another round of decreasing. Now logic would dictate that we've just done 3 double crochets and then decrease. This would be a 2 double crochet decrease. However, to get that flat bottom, you're going to skip that round, and instead you're going to do a double crochet and then a decrease, and you're going to repeat it 8 times. So 1 double crochet and then decrease, 1 double crochet and decrease, double crochet, decrease, double crochet and decrease, and you just keep going around. Your final stitch should be a decrease. Take your stitch marker, place it over the loop on your hook, and that completes round 17. As you can see, the hole is getting considerably smaller. So now I'm going to stuff it. You take your stuffing, you place it into the hole, and it completely depends on how firm you like your plushies to be. how firm you want your pigeon to be, as to how well you stuff it. Just bear in mind that it gets softer over time. At this point I do a little moulding of the pigeon. There we go. Place my hook back inside. Stitch marker back on. For round 18, our final round, you're going to decrease all the way around. So that's 8 decreases in total. And if you can, keep it rather tight. You don't want to end up with any holes in the bottom of your plushie. There's nothing worse than doing all this hard work and then seeing your stuffing through the bottom. Okay, that's 8 decreases. And for your final stitch, remove the stitch marker and you're going to fasten off. And that means inserting your hook into the next stitch, yarning over, pull through, and you'll have 2 loops on your hook. Instead of yarning over again, just pull that loop through. Cut your yarn, leaving 10 to 15 centimeters, and pull that yarn through. And you're left with a little hole in the bottom. Now at this point I do like to put a bit more stuffing in if I can, just to make sure that he's really well stuffed. Now we need to close that hole. Take your grey end and your needle. Now, for this, you need to know the anatomy of your stitch. You have a little look at this stitch. You can see there's a front loop and a back loop. So this is your front loop and this is your back loop. We're going to be using the front loop for this part. Insert your needle into the front loop only towards the center of the bottom and pull through. In the next stitch, insert into the front loop only, but pointing outwards. And repeat that 4 more times. So through the front loop into the center, through the front loop outwards. Front loop into the center, front loop outwards. Front loop into the center and front loop outwards. And then very gently, supporting the bottom, pull on that thread and it will close your hole beautifully. Insert your needle into the middle, pull it out of another hole nearby and pull that yarn all the way through. Leaves you with a lovely round center. And snip off your yarn and just tuck that end in with the other end of the needle. Give him that final moulding and there you have it. You have your positive pigeon. I think he's absolutely gorgeous. If you like this tutorial, please hit the like button down below, hype if you can, and subscribe if you want to see more tutorials from myself. Also, I'd love to hear in the comments how you found the pattern. I'd love pictures of your pigeons sent to me either on Instagram or in the YouTube comment below. And until then, Positive Pigeon says, have a great day. Bye guys.